Greetings, Monty Royal here. I wanted to take some time to address in a longer form video some loose thoughts I have about politics, freedom, and liberty. How we interact with our system right now and our society. Um, Anyways, so the ideas I have in my head are treason. Treason, what's up with that? The punishable treason is punishable by death. Why is that the factor for politicians? It's because politicians create policy. Policy has an effect on your life from cradle to grave. Policy and a lot of other things, but a big part of life is policy of the government. So that could determine whether you can succeed in life or are bootstrapped, have a boot in your face and, kind of Holocaust situations, genocidal situations. Um, so that's what we're dealing with, and most people don't recognize that. We deal with it. We operate within this policy every day. These politicians are making this policy that affects us, and most people don't really acknowledge the degree of which the capacity, or how much the policy affects, at what capacity that policy that this Congress sets affects us. I don't want to get real definitive. I want to speak in general concepts. I'm not sure where it will go, but hopefully it resonates with who it needs to resonate and with, and hopefully it speaks to you deeper. But the point, getting back to treason, was it's punishable by death because it can literally deprive life from the workforce of like a whole society. You can literally steal a generation's life. You can steal their money. You could steal their workforce, their work energy, their life energy. It's all kind of the same. So that's the idea we have, and that's why it's very odd right now that politicians, there's no one being tried for treason, and I highly doubt that there are no treasonous politicians. What I do think is happening is that there's a conspiracy at the highest order to cover each other's backs, so that they can all steal out of the cookie jar, per se. So, like I said, I don't want to get too definitive on what we're dealing with. Um, but these are the situations, these are the thoughts in my head as an everyday citizen. And so it seems like a very big possibility is the system is created so that we will have benefits, like the inflation that we deal with, price stability. These situations are supposed to be managed by the government and Congress. So prices being high right now, houses being really expensive, food getting more and more expensive, the cost of living is going up and up. Congress and also the system that the Federal Reserve has been based on has systems designed so that this inflation will be counteracted. And so we'll all acknowledge that. So, yeah, and it looks like politics are taking their time to catch up. So, my issue is the distance, the space in between, the margin of when things go awry and when they get fixed. There's a lot of area to make a lot of money and deprive even more liberty. And so I think those areas in between are what are being exploited by attorneys and politicians to kind of loot the uh, the whole society, and kind of re-administer capital and wealth to areas that really don't deserve it and are more than likely unproductive. You know, uh, so I think those are the short-term issues we're dealing with, and things were really bad 10 years ago, but they're getting better. But I still think we have a lot of room to improve, and you know, with these are the thoughts in my head, just kind of a rambling of things that I don't hear anyone talking about. I know it's a deep subject; people don't like to talk about it. Gets people worked up, gets people frustrated, and it should. But yeah, if we don't pay attention to this, we could just be railroaded into whatever system they want, and they pretty much railroad. It might not happen to us, but in 3 4 generations from now, who knows what the mindset will be of that that generation. And mindsets change. We're very different between generations. So and maybe it's controlled. I'm not sure. I'm a conspiratorial mindset person. It makes sense that people would work together to gain. So, you know, um, I don't want to condemn the whole system and everyone in it. We're all just trying to figure this whole thing out. And there might be some good actors in it, but I'm not even sure anymore. By the way things are happening on the streets. So, yeah, kind of a good point to bring up is traffic, how bad traffic has become, how vicious people have become on the roads, how lawless the roads have become. That's not being addressed. And I think, the data on people's cell phones, the private insurance companies have this data. They're probably, perplexed on what in the heck's going on. Maybe they even know what's going on. But I would tell you, they can probably notice that people have become more aggressive drivers. So this is also a PSA to remember to, when we're driving on the road. Me personally, I've been a bad, awful driver before, and I regret it. And I look back and I thank God that no one was hurt and that everyone's able to go walk away from the situation. Um, and so what I think about now is I try just to go to speed limit, and I try to get out of the way. Going too fast, it really is, it's a slippery slope because it's like, oh, I'll just go 5 miles. And then, so, once you go five, the other guys behind you start pushing it. And it's like, well, that you feel like you have to increase your speed too. And, yeah, it takes a lot of power to, say, hey guys, we're all working together. We're all in line here. We got to work together and make sure we get home safe. There's no point in getting home wrecked. There's no point in getting home mangled. Maybe, and there's no point in not getting home at all. So just keep that in mind. The best thing to do is just if these guys want to speed, just let them go. Let the police deal with it, figure them out. If they want to just speed and be reckless, just let them go. Don't try to it's hard not to get irritated and try and feed into that. That's also another thing as well. A lot of psychology comes into play. Social psychology comes into play when driving. So, just be the bigger man, I would say, and just let them go. And just remember, you have bigger stuff going on. You have a lot better things in life to worry about than this. Is maybe getting there 2, 4, 8 minutes early. You know what I mean? Just think about it like that and relax. What I do is I find a podcast, a long podcast, and I just enjoy it. I go for the ride and I just enjoy the ride. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. We touched on a few subjects today. These subjects are Congress, treason. We have to remind the people why treason is treason, why people were hung for treason, because they have the ability to deprive the liberty and wealth of an entire generation or nation, and or nation. So that's why the consequences are death. And it's unfortunate. But that's just kind of how it goes. If you're willing to steal someone's life and wear a suit and stand in front of them as their politician, have an exorbitantly wealthy life, a privileged life, and to look upon your subjects and to see them suffering, and then to see the crime in your area as what it is, there's just something that's missing there. Well, maybe I kind of went a little too far with that one. But I think that, yeah, there's something wrong when the politicians are part of the elites. And I get it. I understand that they have to be involved in whatever affairs are happening at the time. Because, they manage the real estate and stuff. And when you're in politics, it's just going to be business to be mingled in with the people with vested interests, so people who are owning the capital and the land around you, and being a politician, you interact with those people, what the deals are, you see the deals before they strike. So they're able to kind of front run information, and that's kind of what the issue is too. That's kind of where I'm coming from. A lot of politicians, Congress, they get to front run information, and this leads back into the treason thing. They get to front run information and monetize off of it. So, the system we used has gotten us so far, but I think it has, we need to distribute this power. We need to distribute this authority more properly. I don't think holding the power in fewer hands is going to cut it, because we've realized that power corrupts absolutely. So I think there needs to be a way to distribute authority and power even more checks and balances, micro checks and balances, and make sure we're being held accountable. Because so that's kind of a ramble I've had. So that's kind of my ramble. I got into treason. I got into politicians. I got a little salty about elitist politicians. Um, but there's a good case that they are, using their political platform to and their power to, usurp value out of the economy into their own pockets. So we need to address that issue. Um, People's lives are being affected by that. So also I addressed the driving, aggressive driving. Keep that in mind, guys. We all make up the system. We're all just pieces of it, and we have to learn to work with each other. We have systems in place as well that have already been established, and one thing is a code of conduct, how we conduct ourselves, how we conduct the energy transfer between each other. When we talk, we communicate. We're transferring energy. We're transferring knowledge. Um, and it goes, yeah, code of conduct. It goes down to like driving habits. Are we going to cut off people, be aggressive and stuff? It's like, are we going to do unto others as we would do unto ourselves? Um, I was driving the other day, and a good point about this more driving stuff is I was downtown. I was getting to downtown to a park with the dogs, and beautiful day, and everyone's out, and I notice a lot of kids on the sidewalks and stuff, running across the streets and stuff, darting across whenever, these kids just being kids, and people hauling, going really fast, and you kind of got to look at your community as kings. We're all kings. The children are kings. We need to treat the children the way that we would, want to be treated as well. We don't want to like haul ass in front of them and show them negative, effects. Yeah, if you haul ass in a car, you can lose control and run over people. It happens all the time. We want to set a good example as well. We're all human. We make mistakes, but the way we go on from those mistakes is really what determines our humanity. If we're going to keep making the same mistakes, that's not it becomes a, kind of like the P. Diddy thing. It sounds like he's like a monster. It's like these guys like just keep on making those same mistakes, and it's just like, that guy definitely needs to be dealt with. But yeah, so we all make mistakes, and it's all about how we progress from those mistakes, and empathy is a huge thing when considering this. We all have to be empathetic. We're all stuck here together. We're in this community. It's easy to let go and just freak out on each other, but we need to remember that, we work together. We have to work together. There's no other way. What's the other option? Is us murdering each other in the streets? Really, think about it. You know what I mean? Or just ignoring each other and having a desolate area where you could have, like, if we just hide under rocks the whole time, what happens is the criminals run amok and start human trafficking right on our streets, right in front of us, and no one has any, people can't tell what assaults are. People will start being assaulted in public, and no one will be able to address it because they won't have the knowledge to see an assault happen. So yeah, these are really big issues that we need to take on in our society, and we need to educate our children on so they don't make the same mistakes. We need to progress. So here's my hodgepodge of knowledge and insight. Maybe it will strike a chord with someone out there, and I can make a few shorts off this, kind of compacting the information. But yep, I'm just trying to fill a gap that I see. I don't hear anyone talking about this stuff. I think it's a very crucial topic. These sensitive topics, that people usually kind of retract whenever they're brought up. So, all right, God bless. Monty Royal signing out. I'll talk to you soon.